Are you still wondering why you're not in divine union with your twin flame yet? Do you still question why you're in separation? Why things aren't happening? Why things aren't unfolding the way you'd like them to unfold? But this is the thing. Separation is preparation. It wasn't the right time for you to be together before, but after the healing that you need to do, it will be the right time. And who knows, it could be the right time now. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialize in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. This is the thing. We can get so frustrated with separation. We keep questioning, why, what's going on? What do I need to do? But that's the thing. We need to use this time wisely. This is divine intervention. You know, when you first met your twin flame in the physical, can you safely say you were ready? I thought I was. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I met my twin in the physical 11 months ago, and, you know, I would have said I was in a good... Sorry, this is funny. I would have genuinely thought I was ready, because I'd been on the spiritual journey for a long time, and I'd already known I was a twin flame. And I'd gone through a catalyst experience, and I'd gone through deep inner healing. I'd done a lot of work. I did a lot of work. So when I met my twin flame in the physical, I genuinely said, like, oh, this will be easy. I've got this. You know what I mean? I've done so much healing already. I'll be fine. Well, I was fucking wrong. I've been through a roller coaster of emotions over the last 11 months. And you know what? It really made me realize I wasn't fucking ready. No way. And, you know, it's funny because I love to measure things, and I love to just see, you know, to pinpoint the dates. And, you know, over the last 11 months, every time we've met, every time we've contacted or anything like that, there has been a new activation, and there's been a new trigger, and there's been a new round of healing. And it's like, every time I go through another round of healing, I'm like, oh my God, that was fucking deep. I have lots more to heal. And, you know, it, like, every time we actually did meet up, it's like, I'm ready now. Yeah, I'm ready. And then more roller coaster of emotions and more fucking deep healing to do. And I'm like, shit, I wasn't fucking ready at all. You know what I mean? So we have to ask ourselves that, like, you know, were you ready? No, you weren't. If there's separation, this is divine intervention. This is here for a reason. The universe won't let you be together until both of you do the healing required. You know what I mean? And even as the, I say, more awakened twin, I genuinely did think, I've got this. You know what I mean? This is going to be easy. It wasn't. I've gone through so many rounds of deep healing over the last 11 months. And, you know, even up till this week, do you know, it's constant, like, you know what I mean? And, like, you know, I keep going back and forth, and, like, you know, I am more ready than I ever was. You know, I went through a stage of being afraid to be loved, and I'm not afraid anymore. But it didn't mean that I didn't have more wounding to heal. And that's it, you know, and that's what I keep asking myself. Because every time there's that separation or there's that disconnect on the 3D, remember, separation is an illusion, and your souls are actually always intertwined and interconnected on the 5D. So, you know, that's one thing to trust, is, like, you know, trust in that spiritual side. But every time, you know, separation gets a bit longer, but that's the thing, you know what I mean? We think, right, and this happens to me all the time, get a little bit of communication and you get a little bit hyper and you're like, yay, I'm ready. And then you're like, why isn't this happening yet? And you're like, you know, kind of going, when? And then you're like, oh, okay. And then that's when I turn around and I go to the angels. I'm like, what do I need to heal? You know what I mean? And it's like, obviously we're separated for a reason. Obviously he's got stuff to work on. But with this mirrored energy, so do I. So I have to come back and ask myself, what am I feeling? What do I need to heal? And, like, you know, over the last few weeks, my unworthiness wound was re-triggered. So I got all that to heal. And, like, a lot of imposter syndrome came up for me. And fear of letting people in. If I have fear of letting people in, as in friendships and community, doesn't that really reflect, and I have fear of letting my twin in as well? Because he's people. Do you know what I mean? And, like, it's like all of it's interconnected. So technically, you know, I was going through a little bout of, like, I'm ready. And then it was like, unworthiness wound, deep healing. And I'm like, oh, okay, obviously I wasn't ready. Do you know? And that's what, you know, that's kind of what came into my head there lately. Is like, instead of seeing it as a punishment or, you know, getting frustrated that they're not contacting, or feeling that rejection. Obviously, if you're feeling rejection and frustration or anything like that, that means you have to heal your frustration and your rejection. And that's a fact. You know what I mean? If you're not, when you're in a sense of complete calm, complete knowing, where there's absolutely no fears whatsoever, that's when union is going to come in. But if you're still feeling antsy, if you're still feeling, agitated, if you're still feeling frustrated and angry, not, even towards them or yourself, this means there's still some core wounding that needs to be addressed. And ask yourself that question. Look back. You know what I mean? Like, if you've met your twin in the physical, this is a sure sign that union is getting closer. But the longer the separation is, because the more healing that needs to be done. So ask yourself, look back over the last however long and say, was I ready? Like, oh my God, 9 or 11 months ago, I was not the same person that I am now. 5 months ago, I was not the same person I am now. Like, I have a picture from 5 months ago, and I looked at that and I was just like, well, actually, I looked at all the pictures, say, from last year to now. And I'm like, who the fuck is she? You know what I mean? And you can see, like, I obviously do videos, and I've been doing videos since November 2023. And I've looked over those videos, and it's like I can see the stages of growth. And it's a really good way to measure. And that's like, I started doing photos as well. When I was doing a really deep healing over between 21 and 23, I took photos, even though I wasn't in a good place. I took photos just to see my growth. But watching those videos or seeing pictures over the last year even, so say 11 months since I met my twin, like, I'm a different person in every single one of them. And, if I press play on the videos, it's like I sound different. I'm not half as confident. There's that fear, there's that trepidation in my voice. That's just a little bit of nervousness. And it's just like, who is she? Like, you know what I mean? I've transformed so much over the last year. It's crazy. Like, I've obviously transformed so much since the start of my spiritual journey. I have. But just in this year alone, just in 5 months alone, I'm looking at photos and I'm just, whoa, Jesus. You know what I mean? And I completely transformed. And that's the growth that we go through. But and I remember then the feelings I had 5 months ago. The feelings I had around Christmas, the feelings I had a year ago. And I'm like, she wasn't confident. I was confident in ways. I really was. I owned my authenticity. But I just remember, especially around my heart chakra, there was so much wounding still. There was still so much pain. And I was just like, I wasn't who even over the last couple of weeks, it's crazy, right? All of us going through this transformation. Time is so fucking weird. A month ago feels like fucking 6 months ago. Because, I'm trying to calculate stuff. So, the start of January, I was, prior to January, say December, all of December, I was really, really deeply in my heart chakra wound, healing my persecution wound, healing my deep feeling of not being enough. And so I remember the 6th of January, I started reading The Law of Attraction again. And, the fear alleviated. And for the whole month of January, I was in this constant state of fearlessness. And all through, halfway through February, I was feeling really high energy and really connected to my twin flame. And guess what? We reunited. And guess what? A load of shit came up since then. You know what I mean? It's like, prior to meeting him in February, I was in this high energy because I was actually doing so much intense healing, prior to January, say. And I was in this high state and everything was going to be great and everything was fantastic. And I was like, yes, I'm fucking ready. And then he came in and all of a sudden I'm re-triggered into more healing. So between February and now, I've gone through some more intense healing. So that's proof in itself. I wasn't ready. You know what I mean? And it's like, we have to keep remembering that. And this is going to keep happening until we actually, get to the depths of what we need to heal. And I think I kind of, when I discovered that I was going to do this video, I kind of went to a sense of calm again. And I was just like, it wasn't the right time before. And we go through this little bit of fear, especially when we don't hear anything in the 3D. It's like, are they even doing the work? You know, are they even doing the healing? Can I trust this? All this stuff. And like, you know, what I really had to figure out was, you know, I need to forgive myself in order to be able to forgive my twin. I need to believe in myself in order to be able to believe in my twin. I need to love myself in order to be able to love my twin. And I need to choose myself in order to be able to choose my twin. But like, you know, and I was like, you know, when we're projecting that outwards and saying, how do I forgive him? How do I choose him? How do I love him? How do I believe in him? How do I believe that he's doing the work? Believe in yourself. You know what I mean? You're mirror souls. So you're actually at a similar level in your journey. So everything you feel, they feel. Everything you're doing, they're doing. You know what I mean? So like, if you don't trust that they're doing the work, that means you don't trust yourself. If you don't believe that they're doing the work, it means you don't believe in yourself. So that's where it comes back again, like. And then you're like, you're angry towards them. But are you actually angry towards them, or are you angry towards yourself? And I had a lot of inner anger. And I had a lot of self-forgiveness to work on. And in working on my self-forgiveness, I was able to believe in myself and trust in myself again. Because it's all about choosing yourself. That's it, like. You can't choose them, or they can't choose you, or choose themselves if you don't choose yourself. So this is it. It all comes back to you and what you need to do for you. What do you need to do? Like, you can't, as I said, you cannot, like, you know, we keep having doubts about the external, about what they're doing. But that means you're doubting yourself. If you doubt them, you're doubting yourself. So you need to get that power within you to believe, trust, forgive, and choose yourself. And that's what separation is for. Becoming powerful in yourself. And then I was kind of going to myself, you know, that's it. That is it. It was like this sense of calm washed over me. It was never the right time. You know, and I obviously knew that separation is there for us to heal. But it was just the fact that I was saying to myself, like, you know, I wanted it to happen yesterday. I wanted it to happen yesterday. I wanted it to happen yesterday. But I wasn't ready yesterday. Am I ready now? I think so. I hope so. Are we ready? I hope we are. You know what I mean? And like, it just, when you get to that sense of just surrender, there you go. Woo, love words. You get to surrender stage, and it's just like, fuck it. Like, you know, this is one thing I keep doing. You know what I mean? I'll be in this sense of knowing, I'll be in this sense of calm, and then the big butt will come in. Big butt in my face. Anyway, you know what I mean? And it's just like, but. And then all the fears and doubts come back in. But those fears and doubts are connected to myself. They're connected to my own unworthiness wound, to my own heart walls. So I need to reconnect with myself and ask myself what I need to heal in order to trust. And that's what it kept stemming from. You know, the past, you know, and when people have disrespected or deceived me or have not chosen me. Oh my God, why those people were assholes. Why would I want them to fucking choose me anyway? Do you know what I mean? So like, you know, I had to come back to that and say, what the fuck, like, you know, it's not about people choosing me. It's not even about my twin choosing me. It's about me choosing myself. And that's the secret here. And then we come back to that state of complete calm, and you're like, he is doing the work, or she. They are doing the work because I'm doing the work. You know, they're separated from me in order to become their divine selves, in order to be able to meet me where I'm at. I'm doing the work in order to become my divine self so that I can meet him where he's at. You know what I mean? We cannot actually, we need to prepare ourselves for divine love. We weren't prepared for divine love before because we weren't in our divine feminine or our divine masculine energy. This time apart is for us to evolve into that energy. And you know how hard it is to do the fucking healing. They're going through that too. So no wonder he doesn't want to contact you, or they don't want to contact you. You're going through this really raw fucking emotional turbulence. You know what I mean? You don't want anyone to see you like that. You really don't. So this separation is actually protection as well. You're protecting each other from what you're going through. I know we both feel it anyway. You're going to feel what they're going through. They're going to feel what you're going through. So we do feel it. But it's, you know, we're up-leveling and becoming our best selves in order to be able to actually receive divine love, to give divine love and receive it in equal measure. So we have to understand it was never, ever, ever the right time before, but yes, it is the right time now. Once you do that healing, once you do that introspection, once you forgive yourself, believe in yourself, choose yourself, trust yourself, love yourself, then your twin can do all those things towards themselves, but also towards you. You both have to get to that place of self-love, self-choosing, before you can choose each other. So it all begins and starts with you and your healing. And understand it just wasn't the right time before, but it is now. So thank you so much for listening today. And I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you'd like help on your journey, please book me for a discovery call today. And I'd love nothing more than to help you on your path.